Ladies and gentlemen, do you recognise this rig? Do you recognise this guitar? Most importantly, do you recognise this man?
Me?
Why Washburn guitars?
Why? It was destiny in a way, but kind of a accidental destiny, which was basically when I was much younger and I couldn't afford my own guitar. I started to go and get parts for body, like a body, necks, tuners, pickups, whatever. And of course, when you get that stuff in the raw materials, it's never painted. And I didn't have enough money to paint the guitar, so it always stayed natural and it stayed as wood. And so that's it, man. When somebody reached out, saw the band play in the early days in the first album, which I believe was your favorite album, in Boston, they had asked me to do an endorsement, but they didn't want to do it with. They wanted to paint him, and I said, nah. And they told me the guitar will never sell unless it's painted.
Sure enough, you've sold a lot of them.
Yeah.
Out of most guitar players in the world who've changed brands over the years many, many times, you never have. That's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
What's brought that on?
The interesting thing about that, I think we parted ways for about 4 or 5 years, but I think that little space of us parting ways, and the fact that I was still playing the same guitar, even while I was gone, not obliged to play Washburn stuff, I was still doing it. So I think that goes to show that why I played the guitar that I play. I've always played him, regardless with or without Washburn. So, but yeah, I've been with him for a long time. It's been a great relationship. I'm hoping it continues.
For those who don't know, Randall and Washburn is actually the same company. So, was Randall something you went to because of that, or how did that happen?
Yeah, I was actually in Australia. A friend, a relative actually, does some tweaking with electronics and amps, more of a hobby, and he had a basic head that he was starting with, and I'd never really sat with anybody and tweaked things, so we just started kind of playing around a little bit, and then went, whoa, I like the way this sounds, and A-B'd it to some Marshalls, some using Kettner stuff that I use, and I really liked it, and I think I was going to bring it to whomever, to see if they wanted to do it, but because Randall is in the U.S. music kind of umbrella, the guys from Washburn said, why don't we keep it in the family and do it with Randall and see if they're willing to do it, and they were.
So just quickly on the amplifier, it has 3 channels if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And you run the same EQ off of drive and solo. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, and then your clean has its own EQ.
Clean has its own EQ, and it's basically, it's the distortion is more of like just a boost. It's a level boost for me. It's basically me wanting to keep the same sound, but just basically making it a bit of a boost.
And the VU meter?
It's interesting. It's other than the fact that everybody thinks, wow, he just did it because it looks cool, it actually helps me. It's been many times where I've noticed that when tubes are failing or there's a problem with power or something like that, and you have it at the normal settings you have, when you see it not pushing at 0, because I usually always set it right to 0 in the red, and that's where I want my peaks to be. So it kind of gives me a place that you can kind of gauge where you like your tube sounding. So no matter what your volumes are at or EQs, if you kind of see the meter and you gauge it to where your sweet spot is, that's what I use it for.
Beautiful. You guys have had a very long-standing relationship here in Japan with the Japanese fans. Was one of the first countries to take you guys on board. So any reflections on the way things have been for you over the years with Japan?
Look, it's you would think, if you were asking me and I was in France or I was in any other country, you want to please everybody that you're that's interviewing you. But the fact is, and I think our fans all over the world know this, is Japan has always been a bit of a second home for us. But like you said, they kind of embraced us early on. It's a big musical country as well. They love their quality of music and they love their quality of guitar playing, which has made it fun for me. They're unlike a lot of other countries. They're very their thinking is very intricate in the sense of like why things happen. Why does it sound that way? Why do you write a riff like that? Why So they're really interested in the art of the art. You know what I mean? And I think that and the passionate fans, the most loyal fans in the world, I think. Made it always like we come here and we don't even know where we're at. We always feel like we're at home. So it's always been amazing. Hey, this is Extreme's Nuno Bettencourt for Ishi Bashi and Washburn Guitars.